Yo, what's going on? Everyone, it's Chase. So today we're going to look at ES, Bitcoin, Tesla. I'm going to give you some trade ideas for each. We will talk about the current state of crypto and how I feel about things. We'll talk about some, CT topics or whatever. We'll do a little rant or whatever you want to say. Okay, right off the bat, let's get into some alpha, right? So for the newcomers, I'm going to deliver it to you right here. You wake up and you're trying to figure out, okay, is this chart bearish or is this chart bullish? And what type of trade am I looking for today on the open? Am I looking for a long or am I looking for a short? I'm going to show you guys how we're going to figure that out. We're going to snap right to the daily time frame, okay? We're going to go back a little bit. We're going to look at some recent price action. We're going to say, okay, well, where was the most bearish thing that we've seen recently? And I would take this low right here and I would say, okay, we had a high time frame market structure break, right? We know what that looks like. You had a high, you had a low, you had a higher high, you had a little bit of a higher low here, right? And you have a higher high, and you finally break the low, okay? So you break the low of the previous high. That's a market structure break. So this is bearish now, right? Okay, so let's move forward. What do we see next? What's the next major thing we see on this chart on the daily time frame? What I see is this. I see a daily sweep of liquidity. Okay, now we're bullish. And from there, what do we see? Well, nothing really. We had a bearish market structure break and we had a bullish sweep. So on the daily time frame, looking at this, my bias going into this morning was looking for a long position, okay? Because even though we're not seeing any major bullish move, we want to typically look for trades that are playing towards the higher time frame trend or bias, okay? I'm not using bias in a term of like emotion. I'm using bias as into where I think price is going and how I want to set up my trades directionally. Okay, 1 second. Take a sip of water. All right, so like I said, as I came into this morning, I'm thinking bullish because we were bearish here, we're bullish here. Since then, it's been sideways price action or chop or whatever you want to say. I mean, this has actually been some good PA in here, so I don't really want to call it chop. But my point is we haven't received a new high time frame signal. Okay, so our latest high time frame signal is bullish. We're looking for longs. Where would I get bearish again? I would probably fib this out, and I'd say somewhere around the 618. Or if you get up into here, which you'll have a liquidity above this high, you have a gap fill up here. This would be the next major point where I'd be like, okay, probably time for me to get bearish again on a high time frame move. All right. So now, moving downwards, this morning, I open the chart. I say, okay, I want to get long. Where can I find a long? And by the way, typically, if you're on the 4 hour, 4 hour can be good for guidance as well, for high time frame guidance. But typically, if you're executing, I like to execute either on the hourly or on the 15 or the 5 or the 1 minute. But obviously, we're getting into a different conversation sort of when we start talking about the 5 and the 1. But I like to typically execute on the 1 hour or the 15 when thinking about a major trade for the day. And when I say a major trade, that means I'm looking for 30, 40 points or something of that nature. There you go. I could see that right away. That was about a 35-point trade. So right when you see this chart on the open, you're looking for a long. It nuked into the open. Okay, we could see, I'm not sure if you could see this where the darker part starts because these charts are a little different than my usual ones that I use. We'll still use them over here. But yeah, on this chart, it's a little bit, the background is a bit darker where the trading day started at 9:30 New York time. So what I saw here was I said, well, you have all this buildup of liquidity right here. Okay, a lot of lows, right? A lot of untapped lows. And so we just take the most extreme one because what we're looking for is we're looking for to get, basically a grade entry, right? I'm not talking about being a sniper for like ridiculously high risk reward or anything. We're still looking for 2 to 3 risk reward. But what I'm saying is you want to zoom out and you want to say, oh, well, okay, there's liquidity below here, sure, but there's also liquidity below here. And there's also liquidity below here. And there's also liquidity below here. So we want to look at the extreme because if you're working within the middle here, then you might, just get completely ran through like what happened this morning. Now, I will be very transparent, and I'm always truthful with you guys. I was on the toilet when this took place. So I was watching from my phone. I was pretty pissed I couldn't get in. I do have a mobile app, but I don't really trust, trading money that I care about on a mobile app. And I don't know. I'm just not I'm not like quick with the keys, right? If you're not quick with the keys, and how am I supposed to set my stop and my my target, especially if I'm using like OCO, one cancels other, and all that thing. It's hard for me to do that on a very fast sweep like this and get in and out, especially while I'm doing business. So I didn't get in, but I would have traded this low, okay? And I didn't set a limit order before the open because the market had just opened from being closed over the holidays. I wasn't sure exactly if we were just gonna maybe like gap fill or something and then move up. I wasn't really sure how price was gonna move, or if we were gonna just take out like one liquidity or two. So I sort of just sat sidelines, and unfortunately when I went to the bathroom it did the full sweep. So anyway, that is how I look at basically the morning and how I would set up a trade. I start at the daily. I say, okay, we were bearish. Okay, we're bullish now. This is my most recent data point. I go down to the 4 hour, see, if anything sticks out to me, anything major. Even if you took this as a 4 hour liquidity right here, again, you could have got a good fill and you could have got some good reward. But that's why I say using 4 hour for more directional bias is usually better. Executing on the 1 hour is typically where I like to be, because then you would have saw this liquidity as well, which is where the perfect sweep occurred, and you go right to target, right? What's your target here? Just think about this for a second. Where would your where would your initial target be? For me, it would be the support before the major breakdown. Where does that take place? Right here. Okay, so this low, you find support here, right? Because look at this, support, price pushes up on this candle before we move down. If we break down to lower time frame, you'll see it. There you go, support, breakdown, flips to resistance. That's your target. Okay, look at the precision on that too. This is why I love trading ES, because it's so precise. It's just a great market to trade. And we'll talk more about ES versus crypto and things of that nature in a bit. And that just comes from taking the hourly, right? The support before the major breakdown on impulse. It's as simple as that. Clean target. So clean liquidity to SR, simple trade. All right, so let's see what's next. Zooming out on this chart and just thinking about what could be coming in the future. Again, we'll mark out our levels here. Break in market structure, bearish, daily sweep, bullish. Now, I'm bullish here unless we come back below the daily sweep. And these colors are going to be all messed up because of the different charts. That's a little bit annoying. I might have to just pick one theme and stick with it. I usually always default back to this theme, by the way, but I don't know. I've just been enjoying this lately. It's nice. It's nice to give a change to the eyes every now and then. I feel like it lets you read stuff better, and you sort of detach from, sometimes your eyes just snap to things, and you don't want to be not thinking about how price is moving and where price is going. You want to actively be thinking about it and not just be falling into the typical rhythm of what you always see. So yeah, I don't know if that explains why sometimes I like to switch the theme. So anyway, if we come down below the swing level here, so swing failure pattern here, but if we come down below and we just close in here, sorry, it's a lot of background noise. Yeah, so if we come down here and we close in here, then no longer do I see this as, bullish. I see this as looking for a retest of the previous support that we swing failed, looking for it as resistance, and move downwards. Okay, so that's where I would switch to once again, a bullish, or yeah, this is getting annoying. That's where I would switch to a bearish idea. Why don't they let you just use individual charts, right? Why does that adjust for each chart? That's annoying. I'm gonna message them and see if they could have that changed. Okay, so yeah, bearish if we're back below here. That's bearish. We don't want to see that. Until then, still bullish up until getting into here, right? So we have this void of price action in here, inefficient action. and typically that gets filled. If it got filled all the way up into here, where would that align us with? That would put us right in between the 618-705. That's where I would flip bearish again. So yeah, essentially that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for price to move up into here. Still, I've been looking for that for a little while now. How would we get there? I think it's mostly not self-explanatory, but I think it's mostly pretty clean, is that we could sort of just mark this out right here and see this as, support and resistance level. Support, breaks down, resistance, deviates a little bit, but breaks down again, resistance. If we get back up above here in a major way and we see some high time frame action, some acceptance, as I like to say, in here, then any retrace into this level is most likely a swing buy, and play that up into at least here, and then maybe even into here, and those will be sort of the take profit 1, 2, 3, somewhat of that nature. And if you found your entry here, right? If you found your entry here, stop below here or something of that nature, and then it moves up and it breaks market structure here, well, then you can move your stop up to below here and think that that's the low, or like right below this overall SR level, and you would go take profit 1, 2, 3. Okay. Moving on now. And do Tesla quickly, and then we'll look at Bitcoin. Tesla, pretty simple to me. I've been seeing people long this for weeks, right? So keep in mind that, and this is sort of a psychology thing, keep in mind that people are always going to be calling for lower, especially when things are nuking and everybody loves to pile on. And so I saw people longing, this demand right here. I saw people longing this liquidity sweep. It's just so light. Saw people longing this liquidity sweep, okay, and it continues to break down. Now I'm finally starting to look at longs below this swing level right here, and potentially below these equal lows right here into this gap right here, okay? Now here's how you play this. First off, a lot of people ask me about brokers and whatnot. Guys, brokers is very specific to the person in the area, okay? Please you can go on Google and you can just type in brokers in my area or brokers in this country. And you have to look at reviews, and you have to figure out, where you're comfortable going and what the margin requirements are and commissions and all that. And so as far as ES goes, go to the Everything About ES video, and I give you, a few options there. Not necessarily in regards to brokers, but I teach you about the contracts and how much maintenance margin is required, and how much ES contract move per handle, and what to do if you just want to be no KYC and stay off of a broker, etc. But if you're talking like these stocks, like NASDAQ stocks, like you just have to find yourself a broker, okay? It doesn't matter where I trade. I could trade anywhere. It doesn't matter. So stop worrying about where I'm trading, and just go look at what's good in your area or what you're comfortable with. Just off the top of my head, like Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, E-Trade, Interactive Brokers. There's like a lot of them. Okay, so just go find the one that you're comfortable with and trade there. And all the software and stuff is unique. So another reason I don't tell people what broker I'm on is because I'm not going to be tech support for people who don't understand how to use the thing. They're going to be asking, how do I set mine up like yours looks? How do you do that? It's just too much, guys. I'm here to provide the analysis and trade ideas and whatnot, and I'm always glad to help in DMs and whatnot. You guys know that. Ton of you guys DM me, and I try to get back to every single one of you. So I do my best, and as always, please, if you're enjoying this video, go back, like and retweet, comment. I appreciate all that. It's helpful, gets the algorithm going, and answers a lot of the questions that people ask me every single day that I do in this video. And typically that's the point of these videos, is to sort of set the precedent for the week and get a lot of my thoughts out there. And but not a lot of people pay attention to it, unfortunately. So Tesla, we're on the weekly time frame here. A lot of people have been buying, continues to go down. Now I'm starting to look to buy. People are saying it's going to 60. It's possible. If it wants to fill this, that's okay. And here's the thing, I'm not knife catching. in this scenario. I talked about potential calls around 100. I think what I'm going to do is this. I don't want to just buy and watch it rip through, right? Because that's totally possible. So when you're on a weekly time frame here, and this goes for any chart, when you're on a weekly time frame like this and you're seeing a major down move, you're not going to get a subtle little sweep and an instant bounce to 160, right? Or wherever we're going to be targeting, somewhere around like 150, okay? We're not going to be getting that off of a 5-minute candle. Typically you don't get that, okay? I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but typically you don't get it. What you're going to be looking for is you're going to be looking for a 4-hour, or you're going to be looking for a 1-hour, okay? And remember these levels, right? We have the swing level here and we have the equal lows here. And what I'm going to be looking for, and I'll explain this in options terms as well, what I'm going to be looking for is a move below, and typically you'll get some type of you'll have a low, okay, people might be buying it up, okay, you'll make another low, you sort of have a swing point there, you may even make another low. Like typically you work into the area, okay, you don't get an immediate bounce. Now, like I said, you may get something short term, right? You may get something short term, and then it might retrace back down, and then you get another retracement back down. And then when you break market structure here, this is when you want to start watching for, either a retrace into here, that could be a potential buy, or a consolidation back above the swing level, that could be a potential buy. And that's when you position yourself in like a 1 month or 2 month, if you want to be safe, option play. And you play it towards, say like here-ish. You got 135 there. When it comes to options, what you don't want to do is you don't want to be in options during this, okay? Because you're getting faded out. You're losing. You can go watch. I have a video on options. It's hard to find sometimes, but it's on my YouTube. You can go look at options if you don't understand the terminology and whatnot. But you're going to lose a lot of your money if you buy an option here and you sit through this chop, okay? You're going to lose a lot. You're way better off getting in here than you are getting in here, okay? Because you want to be a part of the move when it comes to options, unless they're very long dated. If they're very long dated, you can get in here. But either way, I think this is getting a little complicated. So let me just explain what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is a move into the green, potentially even a sweep of the equal lows. I'll be looking for a market structure break of some sort, something like that. This retest is a potential buy opportunity. If it looks good, I'll play it for, I play it for a month out or so, or 2 months out. If it immediately fails, I probably just get out, and then I'll continue to wait. And if it starts to come back up, it's starting to creep. Okay, I'm going to give it another shot. And then, because typically you're going to make back a lot more on an option than you're going to lose if you open it and you just close it here. Okay, you're going to lose 30% value, 40% of your money that you spent on it. But if it rips, like if you wait out all this consolidation, if it's like 2 weeks of consolidation or 3 weeks of consolidation, and you time a monthly option that rips for 2 weeks straight back up into the 150s, that thing's going to print 7 times money, 6 times money, or something. Like it's going to print, okay? So don't be afraid to take a quick loss in here if you're doing some type of an option trade, especially short term. That's how I see it. So, yeah. I feel like it wasn't as succinct as I could, display it, but I suppose it is what it is. Okay, moving on to Bitcoin. This is funny, isn't it? Daily chart. Looks shitty. Looks, it's just, it does somewhat look like it's calming down, right? Like it does look like it's calming down a bit, but I still wouldn't be surprised if it just nukes. I think it really just depends on it sort of depends on the overall macro and whatnot. And important thing to keep in mind too with And I get it's holidays, right? So it's holidays, there's lack of interest, and we can obviously see that in the chart. But I think that the landscape is changing a little bit. I think, we're seeing good volatility from ES. We're seeing good volatility from stocks, and yet no one seems to care much about crypto at the moment. And I guess we're getting into the discussion part of this at the moment too. But I mean, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, and I'm sure people are finding trades and whatnot. But from my perspective, it seems like people that are still very actively charting crypto and these illiquid altcoins and stuff, it's really just for engagement. Because I don't see why you would be trading this when you could be trading this. It's some beautiful price action on ES. I showed you it this morning. I showed you it in this video right from this morning. The sweep of liquidity straight back up to SR level. Like, what do you have on Bitcoin this morning? On Bitcoin this morning, you had not much. I mean, when was this? This was yesterday. You have a little liquidity sweep there, playing a little liquidity to liquidity trade, but yeah, I mean, it went in a bearish direction. We're getting some good. Oh, holy! It's moving, guys. It's moving live. It heard me. It heard me, and it's pissed. Yeah, I mean, it sort of looks like it's just filling these over and over again. Unless we're making a real move here. This is actually interesting. ES is not really moving that much, nothing special. And we're live on the scene right here. Alright, let's see, we got liquidity here. A sweep of this low could be interesting. Still want to see this liquidity taken out. It's like my real trader snapped in for a second. Sweep this and go to here. I mean, that's what it should be. Liquidity to liquidity clean. Otherwise, we're just going to be moving lower because we've already fully worked into this demand. Not only did we fully work it, we actually pushed through it. So fully worked into this demand. Last chance, really, in my opinion, here is sweep of this and right into this void right here. So that's what I'd be looking for on Bitcoin. This video probably won't even be out by the time if that already occurs, or at least the sweep occurs. But yeah, back to the overall topic here. I feel like there's just not a lot of value. You know what this is? What Bitcoin is right now? It's a background chart. That's the perfect way I've been thinking about it, is that it does sometimes get very volatile, but it can take weeks to build up. It's like, look, you gotta wait weeks for a move. 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 Like, how is that? Like, that's not good. And like, these are all just like little shitty wicks that happen like super fast, and that they're inefficient moves. And I don't know. I'm just as I always say, I'm very grateful for crypto and all that, and I don't think it's dead at all. I just think right now there's a lack of interest. And I gotta go where the sun is shining, and right now the sun is shining on this ES price action, and there's some stocks to watch as well. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yes, I mean, some people ask me about the NFT thing. I sort of talked about it on Twitter. I think NFTs. I always have the same stance, right? I'm happy for people making money. I got no problem with that. I'm happy for them. Make money however you can. Outside of being harmful to others, I suppose. But it's just not for me. I think they're essentially like, they're just altcoins with pictures, but without the charts, without meaningful charts. And I mean, it's like no different than altcoins, right? People will shill altcoins and people will shill all different stuff all year long while they go down, and then all of a sudden, once they get a win or two, they're super loud about it. That's just what we're seeing. I mean, in addition to that, don't get me wrong. I mean, for people who are really all in NFT, I don't necessarily see it, because I think you're putting a lot of your energy and effort into something that is very niche, and I'm not sure about the long-term sustainability of it, at least when it comes to, quote-unquote trading the JPEGs, right? I can tell you one thing for sure, that you are not developing. If you put a 10,000 hours into trading NFTs, you're not getting the same amount of skills that you would get from putting 10,000 hours into trading Bitcoin. And if you put 10,000 hours into trading Bitcoin right now, you're not getting the same skills as putting 10,000 hours into trading ES. You're going to learn fastest here on this chart. That's my personal opinion right now. And yeah, so that's how I see it for NFTs, is that I feel like you might be putting in a lot of time, and unless you literally come out of it with retirement money, you might have been putting a lot of time into nothing, because trading skills you can take anywhere. You can trade it to any markets. You could take it to crypto, you could take it to stocks, you could take it to Forex, you could take trading and technical analysis and price action, you could take that anywhere. But when it comes to trading these little pictures on the internet with your online friends, and we know that half of it is just people shilling it and, oh, I'm sweeping the floor, and then they sell the same day. You're not really developing any skills there. Okay, so those are my thoughts on it. Anyway, shout out to them, If you're making money off of it, I'm happy for you, and it's as simple as that. I don't care what method it is. It's just not for me. It's as simple as that. What else? Yeah, the state of crypto. Yeah, it's boring. The charts are boring. Again, go to the Everything About ES video. Learn more there. When will the volatility pick back up? Probably mid-January or towards the end of January, I would guess. That's like historically how it goes. We're a little calm for the holidays, and then we start to pick back up towards the end of January. I think it's important as well, just keep an eye on the Fed and see how monetary policy is shaping up. Powell's been saying higher rates for longer. That's been his sort of motto, and that's why we continue to see this heavy downward pressure on crypto and stocks and equities. And you got to listen to the Fed. When it comes to fundamentals and whatnot, that's where you should be looking. So keep an eye on all that economic data and what Powell's saying, and that's going to be your guide. And if he says, we're gonna lay off the hikes, and they're starting to talk in a more dovish or a more bullish manner, so to say, then that's when we look for BTC to maybe start accumulating, or maybe see some type of a strong short squeeze, and that's when we take it from being a background chart and bring it to the forefront and say, okay, because we know when Bitcoin gets volatile that it is more volatile than ES, but it's got to be volatile, right? So rather than waiting for weeks on end staring at that chart, I can trade intraday over here. I can keep an eye on it in the background and be ready. And when I see that volatility start to tick up, okay, now I'm putting some focus on it. All right. So hopefully this video is helpful, guys. Like I said, like, retweet, all that stuff. These videos are sponsored by Prime XBT. If you sign up and deposit over there, that helps, and that keeps these videos coming. They are the sponsors of the video. We thank them very much. I thank you very much, and I will talk to you guys next week. Peace out.